and welcome to episode number 22 of Make Some Noise. I am Jason J. Rock Houston, and we got my wonderful co-host, Jamie Bostel, and our guest today is the legendary Carl Canedy, the drummer from Barrage. How you doing today, Carl?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
All right. Right now, Carl, you were, let's start off with, you, of course, also recently, in the last couple of years, wrote a couple of books. One of them being your life story,
Oh,
Tales
there we
of the
go.
Wild Dog. And we talked to you, I talked to you a little
And
bit
you
about
bought
that.
that? Did
Yeah.
you buy that?
Yes,
Wow,
sir.
thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm a
I,
fan.
I, I knew there was somebody out there who bought it. I saw the
I'm the one.
salesman.
Now, Carl, you were sharing with us that you're getting ready, I believe, is it this book to release the audio version?
It is, absolutely, yeah. Audible for Tales of a Wild Dog. I'm excited.
That's
And it's
cool.
again like when I did my book, I thought Doc Phil Harrington said, I will transcribe your notes, your audio recordings. And I thought, well, we'll be done with this in 2 months. It took 2 years. And
Yeah.
then at the end, I was so burned out. The publisher said, you have to cut like 150 pages at least, something like that. I'm like, Phil, you got to do it. Doc, you got to handle it because I couldn't do it. I didn't know what to cut. I didn't know how to deal with it. So, but
And
anyway,
talk about recording the audiobook. What was that like? And was that done at the same time that you wrote the book, or did you do a recording
no,
just recently?
I had to go back and do it, and it was horrible. It was horrible because I engineer myself. This is my recording room.
Okay.
So
Wow.
and I'm a pretty good reader, but for some reason there are parts that were emotional for me. Uh, there were just parts I wanted to skip over. You know, it was not it was not was not an easy task at
Wow.
all.
Wow, wow,
The
wow.
whole book process was, it was difficult. It was emotional. It was surprising. It was enlightening, and it was very interesting. The biggest takeaway for me on writing the book was kind of looking at my life in its entirety, and then observations that came from seeing the big picture, seeing
Yeah,
everything, the timeline.
yeah.
So now suddenly you go, oh, so that makes sense about this, and so it was really interesting. It was emotional,
Yeah, you know
but
what's interesting is I got the Alex Van Halen book, and I got both the book form and the audio book. And I enjoyed listening to it in my car because it's actually Alex talking in his voice, of course. He's
Yeah.
laughing along the way, and it just kind of makes it fun when you're listening to one of your heroes talk about their life. I'm going to throw it to Jamie because I'm sure Jamie has a few questions for you, Carl.
Oh, the audiobooks, yeah, I think that's the way to go these days. I don't know too many people that actually sit down and have time to read books. You know what I mean? We
it's a
have
good point.
such a short attention span these days. Everything's now, now, now. Audiobook, that's a better, definitely for you, it's going to get a better view, I think, than an actual book.
I agree. I agree. Let's hope you're right. And you mentioned my other like two books. As difficult as it was to write the autobiography, it was Doc came to me and he said, "Why don't you write a children's book based on your autobiography, on your life?" And I went, at first I thought, "Wow, that's a stupid freaking idea." And then I thought about it and I thought, "Oh my God, this'll be easy." So literally an hour, we had it done. I sent it to him. He worked on it. He added a couple of things, and uh, and then my friend Jay, uh, he did the narration or did I'm trying to say, did all the illustrations, and we turned it into a book. And now we've had it with Asif, oh, our friend in India. We've now have that narrated, and my daughter did the English version. She narrated the English version, but we have it in, I believe, 11 languages, and it's animated.
Wow. Wow.
So the
In fact,
children's book was a fun journey as opposed to, you know, those opposed to the thing. And now I keep seeing like some people have it and they'll send me pictures of teachers reading it in classrooms. So it's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in fact, Carl, I saw a cool little animated, I don't know, a cartoon or a video of it on YouTube, and man, I was really impressed.
Yeah, well, thanks. It was really a fun experience. And my granddaughter, the big litmus test, whenever I play it for her, she's silent the whole time. I thought, wow, that's a good sign.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. In fact, Carl, you and I have a mutual friend, Tom Collier, and he was sharing with me that you gave him a copy of the book that he gave to his grandson, who just loved it as well.
Oh, that's great. Tom's a great guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking
And
forward to his
so,
new album.
yeah, yeah. He told me I can't wait to hear it now. I also got to ask you because another legendary New Yorker recently passed away. How tight were you with Ross the Boss?
Ross and I were from day one, we were tight. From the original, being the original Man of War drummer and working on all the songs for the first album, and being there at the genesis of Man of War. We always got along great. I stayed with Ross when we went to New York to audition for EMI, and so we were always tight. And then toward the end, the last few years, like I called him. We played in New York. I don't know how many years ago I called him and like, why don't you come and play? He brought his guitar and we did the world's longest Johnny B. Good version. Ross and Dave trading licks. They must have each like, okay, I'm going for 2 minutes. You go for 2 minutes. It was crazy how long the Johnny B. Good version was, but the crowd loved it and I loved it.
Yeah.
But Ross was that guy, such a sweetheart, always. And there was one time when this was about 2.5 years ago, maybe. Um, we had a really great talk about Manowar. That the things that he and I both know, have experienced, and we were able to really talk. And probably, I don't know that either of it. I know I never have, and I don't think he had either. We're able to share it with anybody because the two of us were able to talk about the inner workings of Manowar and the early days and the whole nine yards. And it was for me, it was cathartic, and I think it was for Ross as well.
Wow, that's amazing. And Carl, you're a guy that's into many different things. I've been seeing a lot recently online, which is another reason I reached out to you. All of a sudden, Carl, I don't know if it's all of a sudden, but you're also a rock and roll realtor. Let's talk about that and how you got into selling houses.
Look at Jamie. He looks so bored now.
I'm just listening to you, man.
Yeah.
So I started buying property when I was maybe 28 or 29, and I bought a multi-unit. And then I had those little house in the back, and that's where I lived. I lived in the servants' quarters.
That's funny.
I was
Yeah.
responsible for everything. And
Wow.
then, so I've been buying property over the years, buying and selling property, flipping houses. And the agent I finally found a good agent, Mike Tighe, who's a really wonderful guy. And we're still, even though we no longer work at the same agency, we still get together with Tom and Shannon, sorry. And we get together and have lunch with Patty and the four of us who worked in that office. And so we still have a great friendship from that. But he saw me one day and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Nothing." And he said, "Get your license, come in with me." And he had a foreclosure business as well as selling real estate, but they were doing foreclosure. So I did that for 3 years, and that was an eye opener.
Oh
And
wow.
then as time went on, people started calling me, oh, it's the Rock and Realtor. Oh, it's the Rock and Realtor. It wasn't like I thought, well, that's so corny. Like, oh, it's the Rock and Realtor. But everybody's calling me the Rock and all the other realtors, like, oh, the Rock and Realtor. And what's funny about the whole thing with this business and my clients, I have clients now who become Rod's fans, but it's when people meet me, I look like I could do your taxes. Not
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
but
yeah.
maybe I could do your taxes. And then they're like, "Holy shit, I can't believe that you're that drummer." I'm like, "Oh my God." So little by little they discover it. And so then they're like, "Oh, the Rock and Realtor, they get it." So finally I just said, you know what? I just should go with it because
Yeah, yeah. A
there's
lot
always
of
a gimmick
guys,
for everything.
yeah, a lot of guys are getting into it. I know the original drummer from Alice Cooper, Neil Smith, he did it for
Hmm.
years. The guitar player from LA Guns, Scotty Griffin. You got a couple of other guys doing it, but I'm going to throw it to
Tom
Jamie. Jamie,
Collier.
you must have some questions for Carl.
Well, it just got me thinking that you can't just rely on music these days. A lot of bands are doing side hustles and side businesses on the side outside of making records.
Absolutely true. And I think when I talk about this with different people, the rods, we were in early enough so that we get money, we get royalties, we get
Right.
it, from different ancillary streams. And it's not like David and I couldn't live on it, but
Right.
it's a good amount of money that comes in, and it comes in steadily. A young artist, good luck,
Right.
because I don't think like a new band today is really really tough.
Yep.
Really an unfair disadvantage. I mean, to start out as a new band, you've got to really hustle. You've got to learn business. You've got to learn to be an accountant. You got a manager. You got to be
You got
a
to do
million
everything
hats.
yourself, really.
And then it's not easy to make money,
No.
especially now with unless you're a young. Like when we played in Australia last year, there was at our venue, there was another venue upstairs, and it was a young Japanese group. And the line for them, we were like laughing hysterically. They're all kids, but it was unbelievable. The whole show was sold out, and there were just millions of kids. Our show was like 200 people, or maybe 150 at most, and
Right.
these guys had 2,000.
Wow.
And so it depends on like doing heavy metal now. You don't have the masses, you don't have the turnout.
Right.
Unless it's a festival. If you're on a festival, and then unless you're first tier, you're not going to make any money. You're going to get paid,
Right.
but you're not going to retire on that. So it's a tough time out there now, especially for metal bands.
Oh yeah, my band did a show in Detroit. I think it was like last month. We got paid $60 for the whole band.
The whole band, yeah.
Go, man,
Here,
right?
here you go, guys. I love that meme, which came from Breaking Bad, but they've got the whole pallet, just a huge pallet, all money stacked up. And the guy goes, "Hey, we did pretty well tonight." He goes, "Don't forget, we've got to pay each of the band members $100."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. Yeah, I have two original bands myself and a cover band, and I don't expect to make money when I play original shows. I make more money doing the cover thing and playing
mhm.
acoustically by myself, honestly.
Yeah, that's right. Doing a solo or a duo, great way to make money because
Yeah.
it's easy to book and it's
Yep.
also lucrative.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
can play everywhere with it, you know.
yeah. I have a friend here who has well, now that it's called the Wannabes, and they use a drummer, but they also do a duo. And then Ronnie goes out and does a solo, and he makes money. They play it all the time, and yeah, they keep it low key, and so they can bring in their equipment quickly and get out quickly, and the
Yeah,
way to go.
from what
If
I've
I did
seen
it,
from what I've seen, artists that are out there now, they're doing more than one band too to
oh
make
yeah,
a living. You know, not just relying on one unless it's a major one. You know, but if they have
right,
a band that's kind of known, they're still doing another band too, or they're doing a tribute band on the side
or a
to
tribute
make money
band.
as well too. You know,
I've
yeah,
had a couple of requests to play in the local bands here, and as much as I would love to go out and play, I'm thinking if I did it anything, I would just join a tribute band. I'd start a tribute band
right,
because easy to book.
yep,
It's built-in audience. As long as you're good, you're
built-in
going to do
audience,
well.
yep,
Yeah. And doing a cover band now is tough because now you're competing with tribute bands.
Oh,
And
sure. Yeah.
it's the same old, it's always been this way in the music business. I
yeah,
remember I remember when we got signed, it was everybody rushed to get like heavy metal groups. They wanted like that kind of thing. But then as you see it all the time. Then when Motley Crue came, everybody wanted a hair band. I was producing Rocksgang, and some, we were bringing in record labels, and they all wanted Rocksgang. They wanted the hair metal thing. They wanted Pretty
Rocks
Boys.
game, okay,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, they wanted Pretty Boys, and so they're like looking at every band like that. Then with Young Turk, when I was managing Young Turk and producing that band, we had a bidding war, and they had the Guns N' Roses vibe.
Mm.
Everybody wanted the Guns N' Roses vibe. So it's always been in the music business. I'm not, and I can't disparage A&R people because some of them are my friends, but I ran into a lot of A&R people who really didn't know F all. They didn't know anything. They just knew enough to go to clubs, see what the trend was. Oh, this is where it's going. Okay, look for that
Right.
band. Fits that. It's like cookie cutter. That's why you see so many times, like Faster Pussycat.
Sure.
What's the other? L.A.
LA Guns.
Guns.
Yeah.
A lot of bands that just kind of, like those bands have survived, but a lot of like cookie cutter bands like that, and it's just because it's like a copycat thing.
Oh,
So
they
that's the
they
same.
copied off each other a lot back then. That's when the grunge
Mhm.
thing came in. And there was nothing like that. But I heard that you would put Joey Belladonna in Anthrax.
Yeah.
That's
In fact,
awesome. And
my friend Andrew Duck McDonald, and the Thrasher album has been remixed, and man, it sounds way better. It's crazy how good it sounds. But I'm going to release that soon. But
oh wow.
Duck,
Okay.
Duck, Duck and I wrote all those songs, and we had a lot of different people on the album. And but Joey, when we were with Anthrax, Anthrax had, what's his name? Think of it in a minute. I can see his face.
Neil
He
Turbin.
sang. No, Neil was gone. So we came back to do Spreading the Disease and Armed and Dangerous. And why can't I think of his name now?
It's all right.
Anyway, probably better to not say
Yeah,
his
yeah.
name, so I'll leave it out. But anyway, he was there for a week, and I said to the guys, "This guy's not going to get you to a major label." Now he went on to sing with Skid Row but he was young then, and he just wasn't right for the band. And so
Okay.
they said, "Okay," and they put Johnny Z. They said, "Call Johnny Z," or they say, "Call Johnny," and I told Johnny what's up. And I goes, "Put the band on the phone." So they go to the conference room, comes back out. They go, "John wants to talk to you in like 2 minutes, literally less than 2 minutes." I go pick up the phone, and John says, "Put him on a bus." Click. I was like, "Oh my God." Well,
Wow.
Johnny Z and I have been good friends till the day he died. And I love John like a brother. And we talk 2 or 3 times a week at length. When he was doing his book, he'd call me, Kyle, what happened here? Kyle, I can't remember. Kyle.
Uh,
Wow.
2000, 2007, I had a band called Signal. We opened for Joey twice in Indiana.
Cool. Joey's a great guy. So I'm
Nice.
like trying to find it. These guys in Anthrax, they were like in the middle of doing this album, and they're like, okay, now their singer's gone, and they have no tracks are done, but they have no singer. So I put the word out. I called Duck, and I said, Duck, we need a singer for Anthrax. And he goes, this guy, Joey Belladonna, he's really a great singer, but he sings Journey. He goes, he
Yeah.
loves Journey. I'm like, well, what the hell? We can't, like, that's not going to work. He goes, no, he's a great singer. So I called Joey and talked to him. He goes, okay, I'll come down. And he came down, and I remember John and I were working with him because you have to remember this was the first time like people didn't know thrash. Like for
Right.
Joey to come in at first, like this is going a million miles an hour, trying to find phrasing and trying to like, what the hell is happening here?
Right.
And so he nailed it, but the guys were all behind the door in the control room. Alex has a door right in the back so you can go into the bathroom and then into the office. And they were all there with the door open a little bit and they're peering through. And it didn't take long, like maybe a half an hour working with him, and they're like, that's it, he's the singer.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's how it happened.
Oh, wow. Carl, in prepping for today's interview, I was going back and reading through the book, and I found an interesting story that I wanted to ask you about. Apparently, Barrage were semi-featured on an episode of Donahue, of all things, where the cover of Let Them Eat Metal was featured, where they were talking about the most offensive album cover. What was that like, to see you guys being talked about on a talk show like Donahue, of all things?
That was crazy. Now, the way that came out, I had this dream about like, when you're always writing in that writing mode. I don't know about Jamie, maybe you probably understand this, and I don't know about you, Jason, but when you're writing, your brain's constantly going. And if you have an album coming
Yeah.
up, constantly thinking of titles, constantly thinking of lyrics, constantly thinking of
Yeah.
concepts. And so I woke up one morning, I was like, Let Them Eat Metal, that's a freaking great title. And so I said to my friend Sherry, we talked about it, I go, it's too bad we don't have somebody who has like a silver vibrator, put it in a banana skin and like Let Them Eat
Oh,
Metal and so stupid, like very Spinal Tap.
right.
And she go, and so of course my friend Sherry, who was dated Mars Cowley forever, She said, "I have a gold one." I'm like, "Hey, that works."
Yeah.
So she went and she did the cover, and it's legendary. So we're watching Phil Donahue and for the PMRC, right? So the
Yeah, episode,
you know, think of all the people the rods have corrupted. Um,
yeah.
but so anyway, we see this cover, and then they leave it lying there, so you can still see it. They're holding it up, and then we're like, "Oh boy!" But it was cool. It was funny for us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Carl, and so let me ask you about the children's book before we wrap it up, because watching that cool video on YouTube, that's supposed to be you as a child. Now, did you really look like that as a child, or did somebody just kind of create the character of Carl based on you?
Did I look like that?
Yeah, like as a child, would you say like you pulled out a picture of you at that age? Would you say you looked like that?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I mean, I probably looked. I think if you pulled out a picture of me at that age, I just looked really goofy and maybe challenged in some way.
Yeah, yeah.
So not exactly.
Eh,
But the thing that was cool about the story is that it's pretty accurate
yeah,
of
yeah.
my life, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool to have that in a nutshell, something quick. And then in 11 different languages. Like
Oh,
I never
wow.
thought that would happen.
Now here's a question for you. As far as being on the book charts and that, did it chart at all, like on Amazon or anything like that, like the other book?
I wound up, do you mean my children's book?
Yeah.
No, not that I'm aware of. I
Okay.
know with um, Tales of a Wild Dog, I woke up at 5 and I saw an email from the publisher and I read it. And she goes, "Congratulations, you're number one on Amazon
Yeah. Wow.
best-selling autobiography
Wow.
and
That's pretty
heavy
exciting.
metal autobiography." And I was like, I had tears in my eyes. I was
Wow.
so, yeah, it was so, I don't know. I mean, we worked so long on that book and I was so burned out about it. I was like, oh God, I can't take it anymore. So by the time it came out, I just didn't even know what to expect. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was like a big emotional release for me.
Now, where would you say the rods are in your career? I mean, I know you guys just put out a new album. Was it last year or this early this?
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And
It was
so my
last
question is,
October.
more new music, or do you see like even a Rods documentary down the line?
There's a movie that no, now of course I can't think of his name. Um, we were interviewed. We did a show in Elmira, and this guy came. This guy.
Yeah,
I feel terrible now. I can't think of his name.
it'll
Um,
come. Yeah.
it'll come to me. But anyway, he started interviewing us, and it was kind of weird. He didn't seem to know a lot about the band,
Uh,
but he knew enough about the band. I guess he had been a fan. But
yeah.
anyway, he did. He has done a documentary on the band, and
Oh,
now
wow.
he's been tweaking it. And we just won. We Syracuse. We just did a thing in Syracuse, and I went to it. He did another screening in Williamsport.
Yeah.
Charlie Birch,
Oh,
name.
okay.
And Charlie did so. This one we won Best Original Music in Syracuse for the documentary. So that's and then I've been talking to someone else about doing maybe a little more of an intense and extensive rod file.
Yeah, that would be cool because there's one that just came out about Peter Frampton. There's supposed to be one coming out about Iron Maiden. So a lot more people are doing these
Mhm.
documentaries.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of cool to do.
Yeah.
Um,
And do you see the Rods continuing on, like in the vein of the Rolling Stone until you guys just can't do it anymore?
Till they take the wheelchair right up to my
Yeah, yeah,
drums so I
yeah,
can
yeah,
play.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Uh, I Freddie and I are very much interested in doing it. You know, David's a little bit older, and he's like, if we get good gigs, then cool. But if we don't get good gigs, then let's not bother.
And
So
let's be
that's kind of
honest,
where
I
we're at.
understand he's been very successful with his restaurant.
He has, absolutely. This is their 40th year
Wow.
in that restaurant, and it's a successful restaurant.
Yeah.
But longest standing endorsement.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of cool. He initially gets into making music and through that, it's allowed him to do his restaurant that just has become the success that it has.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's always been great, and they run it really well. I tell them that all the time. They have a lot of family now who work there. Their daughters work there,
Oh
and
wow.
their cousin, the niece, like they have family members, but they run it really well. And I always say his wife Denise, she's my hero because she can fire somebody and have them thank her.
Oh
She'll
wow.
give them the,
Yeah.
you know, it just seems like really not a good fit for you. And, I'm sure you're going to be happier somewhere else. And you'll really enjoy it
Oh,
because here it's clear you're not
not
that
working
happy. And
out.
we don't want to keep you here if you're not happy.
Wow.
So we wish you well. And that's how she handles it. I'm
That's
like,
cool.
oh my God. And they're always thanking her. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well,
You know,
that's the
you,
way to do it, I
you're
guess.
That's
at,
a
Yeah.
smooth
you,
termination.
your ass is fired. And they're like, thank you. Thank
With a
you.
smile. They're thanking you for firing them.
I
I love that.
appreciate it.
But David still has the fire. It's not like he doesn't.
Sure.
And we're talking about doing a date, maybe this summer. We'll see, or maybe October. We're talking. Freddie's busy now with Holy Mother around that time, and he was going to Germany or to Europe for 30 days with Holy Mother, which is crazy. They're doing a
Wow.
headliner for 30 days, so that's. I'm wishing them
Okay.
success on that.
And then any chance of future Carl solo albums like the Canedy project?
I just sent it to him,
Okay.
to Billy Sheehan, the last song for him to play on this new album this new group we're doing.
Oh wow. I
So
can't.
this album is written, it's completed with the exception of one track from Billy Sheehan
Wow.
and John Hahn, who was the guitarist in Harpo, but he was also a Leviathan recording artist, and then Mike Barney discovered he's a shredder. He's very, very I want to say classical. It's not really
Classically trained.
his
Yeah.
his parts. He orchestrates his parts so well.
Oh
Just
wow.
not just all shredding. He orchestrates it. And then Mike Santasiero, who was the singer on the first Canedy album, the band version.
Uh-huh.
And so Mike is the singer again, and it's really every band says it. This is the best thing I've ever done for every new album, right? I've
Yeah.
Yeah.
never done anything this good before. But I'm really proud of it. This ranks up there with probably my top three albums I've ever been involved in. I can't
And
wait for people to
Jamie,
hear
that's
it.
because Carl's much more than just a drummer. I mean, he's not your typical drummer in the sense that he
Right.
gets very involved in the songwriting as well.
Well, that's good. That's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
Not a lot of drummers do that, but that's good for sure. I have two questions. Two questions.
Sure.
When does your audiobook come?
Jamie, Jamie, you don't have to hold two fingers
Two.
up. I got it.
I got two
One,
questions.
two.
When's your audiobook come out? And question totally off the record, man. What do you think about Rush getting together with this girl drummer?
Annika.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, first of all, I don't know exactly what the date is. There's a process now that we'll be going through for
Okay.
audiobooks. So I'm
Okay.
not really sure about that because was way more complicated than we thought. We've had to jump through a lot of hoops. And then, of course, we're not, it'll be just Audi, the Audacity or Audit. Wait, I
Audible.
always get Audible. I'm always
Right.
saying Audacity because for years I used that program for Audible. So we'll see. But anyway, we're in the queue and it'll be fine. It'll happen. As far
Okay.
as her playing drums with Rush, my thought process on that is, what if they had hired Mike Portnoy
Yeah. Yeah.
to do it? Now, there are a lot of drummers who,
I feel you on that.
well, a lot of drummers are capable of doing it.
Right.
Not taking anything away from Neil, but Neil had great parts, wrote great
Right.
parts. But the thing is, any drummer, even like I said, even if you put Mike in, it's not. The comparisons would be always not as good, or
Oh yeah.
there'll be a lot of negative with Annika. It's like, she's a female, so that eliminates all the macho bullshit that would come
Mhm.
with putting a male drummer in, and all the comparisons to Neil.
That's true. She's pretty too. Doesn't
She's
hurt.
pretty nice to look at, yeah, and but she's a great drummer. And
Yeah.
I did read that they after rehearsals, the first batch, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they stopped and went back and said that just the feel isn't right.
Mhm.
And so she went back and went back and kind of rethought it, and they got back together, and then it was working great. So, but I think having her, such an accomplished, talented drummer, and the fact that she's a woman eliminates a lot of the naysayers that are, would be, like I
Right.
said, if you put Mike Portnoy in, Mike Portnoy could play everything as well or better than Neil played it, but they're going to be half of the people who are going to go, yeah, you know what, but he's not Neil. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
we all know she's not Neil, and she's not trying to be Neil.
yeah.
And the music carries on, which I love because I've read this over the last bunch of years that Geddy and
Alex.
Alex are tight and they play together all the time. They're like best friends and they play together. So this is kind of a no-brainer. And it's nice that they're able to go out and share the
Yeah,
music.
they'll probably whip out a record just because they can, you know. Hopefully they
Yeah.
do. I mean, I'm all about it. Rush is my favorite band for
Wow.
sure. It's just like the drummer for doing the Pantera thing. They did the Pantera thing, and Charlie from Anthrax. Charlie from Anthrax doing the drums for Pantera. People got something to say about that, but it's like, hey, these kids haven't heard Pantera, and they need to hear the
No.
music. I think it's
And
great.
and I think Charlie was kind of an heir apparent. They were all tight. They loved the band. I remember working with Anthrax and they were all about them. So he
Right,
definitely is a fit for the band. And but same thing with Zach. Where's Zach fit in?
right,
Same argument to make. But they're
Yeah.
being true to the music, and the fans love it.
right.
And
I feel that too.
That's what
and any
matters. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and the purists are going to have something to say because they always do. But you have to figure they're keeping the music alive, and they're more of a real band than a lot of and not trying to disparage Foreigner, but
Right.
Mick hardly shows up at all, and Foreigner is now basically the ultimate Foreigner tribute band.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, I will say about Pantera, I was kind of like a lot of people thinking, I don't see how they can do it with the brothers, but I'll tell you, they've convinced me otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, so the proof is in the pudding, as they say. Carl, I want to thank you for coming on. It was great catching up with you, my friend, and we'll have
yeah,
you back, when you drop your new solo album and the audio book, and we'll help you promote that. But take care, Carl. Anything else
I
you'd like
really
to say?
well, I really appreciate that, and I nice meeting you, Jamie. It was nice talking with you as well,
You
and
too,
Jason.
sir.
I always appreciate your support, and I'll let you know when things are out. I can't wait for you to hear the new music. I it's different. And the three of us wrote the songs, and so I can't wait for people to hear it. And that's probably the one thing, as you know, Jamie, when you
Yeah.
write songs,
Yep.
it's like a year delay before you even get any feedback. You're like, and pretty soon you're second, oh, is this as good as I think it is? Is this great?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is this shit? Like you don't. It's so you just wait for that to drop, and you're hoping it'll be positive. But I can't wait for people to hear it.
Well, thanks, Carl. Take care, my friend. Have a great rest of your weekend, okay?
You too. Good talking to you guys.
Okay,
All
bye-bye.
right, Carl.